Hi Year 3, welcome to my kitchen for this week's science. It's all about the importance of leaves for plants. So if you've watched the two short video clips, you will have seen that leaves are so important for any plant. If a plant doesn't have leaves, it dies. And there's two main reasons for that. Can anybody remember either of the reasons? Yep, you got it. If a plant doesn't have leaves, it dies because, just like us, plants need to breathe, and plants use their leaves to breathe. But instead of taking in oxygen like we do, plants actually take in carbon dioxide and they give out oxygen. And they need their leaves to do this. And the other reason that plants die if they don't have leaves is because they need their leaves to be able to make their own food. They take in light from the sun to make their own food, sugar, and they do this by a process called photosynthesis. And if the plants don't have their leaves, they can't produce their own food and will die, and they can't breathe, so they will die. So leaves are really important. So I've got some leaves from my garden here that I'm going to show you. I'm going to have a little look at them and see how they're different and how they're the same. And we'll have a little look, and then you can have a look in your garden and see if you can find any leaves. So let's have a look at these leaves here. So this one I've been showing you is a beetroot leaf. Beetroot grows under the ground. It's very dark red in colour. You might have had it pickled. And this leaf feels, if you see, it looks quite shiny. It feels really waxy. And it's waxy because the leaf has to be protected from the rain. So it's waxy, so it's protected from the rain, but it's still thin enough so that the sun can get through, because the leaf needs to use the sun to make its own food in photosynthesis. Now at the back, can you see all these veins in the leaves? You see all those? Very veiny, isn't it? And also notice how big the leaf is. So obviously the bigger the leaf, the more sunshine that it can get, and also the more breathing it can do. More oxygen, carbon dioxide it can take in, and oxygen it can breathe out. And that oxygen makes our air around us good. So if you've got plants in your house, you're giving yourself better air to breathe. Next leaf here I've got is a strawberry leaf. Smaller than the beetroot, but again it's still very waxy, very waxy. And that wax is waterproofing it so that the plant can survive in lots and lots of rain. We know that plants need rain as well because they need water as well as light to survive. And on the other side, it's not as waxy. But again, it's very veiny. I'll see how close I can get for you without it going blurred. So that's a strawberry leaf. And I've just got these strawberries that I picked off my plant this morning. Year 3, so we're going to have those after tea, and we'll pick some more for breakfast. So that's the fruit that the strawberry plant has grown, and it's done that using its leaves, because if it didn't have its leaves, the strawberry plant would die. It wouldn't produce any fruit because it wouldn't be able to breathe, and it wouldn't be able to make its own food. And it needs sunlight to do that. It needs water, and it needs nutrients from the soil. If it's got all of those things, it can produce its own food. And what else have we got? Here we have got, can you guess what this one is? It's a tomato plant leaf, and I've got lots of tomato plants on my windowsills in the house, and I've actually started to grow some tomatoes. I'll just show you here. There we have one. See that one? Just saw that one this morning. It's first fruit to growing. Little plum tomato there, and that came after the flower. So once it flowered, it then produces the fruit. And I've got this leaf from our tomato plant. So I'll go back to this leaf and have a little look at this leaf. It's similar shape to the beetroot, actually, similar size, because tomato plants are big and they'll need a lot of food to make their own energy to keep alive. And that's why the leaf is so big. It feels a little bit waxy, not as waxy as the beetroot and the strawberry. It feels a little bit thinner than that. I think more light can probably go through this. If I hold it up, can you see the light shining through? Remember, that's important because they must have light to make their own food. If you turn it around, again underneath, it's not as waxy. You can see all them veins again. And underneath here, you can't actually see them, but there's lots of tiny tiny little holes. And those little holes are what they use to breathe with. So in the little hole goes carbon dioxide and out comes oxygen. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you how to set up a little experiment to prove that the oxygen, that the leaves breathe and the oxygen comes out and they take carbon dioxide in. So there's a tomato plant leaf. So we've done beetroot, tomato and strawberry. And then finally, this is from my apple tree. There's bigger leaves than this one. I chose this one. I didn't want to take too big a leaf because I don't want the apple tree to not have enough energy to make its own fruit because it's got apples on at the minute. So it's a lot smaller, bit of a different shape to the others, more similar to the strawberry, and it's got a lot of, you can see the veins on the front. It's hard to get it, but you'll be able to look at your own in the garden. It's waxy again, and underneath it's just the same. It's not as waxy because it's underneath, so it doesn't need to be protected from the rain as much as on top. And there you can see all the leaves again, and again the tiny little holes in there. So if you want to try this experiment at home, you're going to have to get yourself any leaves from the garden. It doesn't have to be from fruits or vegetables. It can be plant leaves. I've just chosen these because they're quite big to show you. And what you need to do is you need to get a shallow bowl of water, and you just put a little bit of water in it. Then you get the leaf. Nothing will happen straight away, it will be left. So I'll stop this video, and in a couple of hours I'll come back and I'll have a look at the results. And basically you're just going to put your leaf just under surface of the water like that. And I think we'll add another one as well. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to leave those leaves. Oh, not showing you. We're just going to leave those leaves for a few hours, and when we come back we should be able to see something, and this will prove to us that the leaves are used to breathe. I wonder if you can guess what we might see in that bowl to prove that the leaves breathe like we do. We take in oxygen and we give out carbon dioxide. But plants, they're taking carbon dioxide and they give out oxygen. So I wonder what might appear in here to show us that it's breathing. I want you to have a little guess. And then if you ask your mum, if you can get a little dish and grab some leaves from the back garden, you can do this experiment yourself. All you have to do is put your leaves in and leave them, and then you have a look and see what you find in a couple of hours. What I will do is I will do another little video in a few hours, and we'll see what's in my bowl and see if the experiment has worked. Okay, so that is that's all about leaves. So important for the plants because they are used to take in light so they can make their own food through photosynthesis using water and nutrients from the soil, and also they need it to breathe. Plants are living things like us. They have to be able to breathe. If they can't breathe, they die. If you take away the plant's leaves, the plants die. Okay, so two really important functions of the leaves today that we've learned about. We've learned about how they use light, energy from the sun, and water and nutrients to be able to make their own food. And two, the second, really just important, is that how the leaves are used to breathe. Like our lungs, we've got lungs to breathe. A plant has leaves. That's like their lungs. That is what they use to breathe. So I hope you've enjoyed that lesson. Have a look in the garden, go find some leaves. You could draw a picture of the leaves, and then you could describe what the leaves are used for. And also, it'd be great if you could set up your own little experiment. All you need is a little bowl with some water, and just leave it for a few hours and see what happens. So I'll come back in a few hours and we'll have a look at the results of my experiment. I'd love to see some pictures or little videos on Class Dojo of your experiments if you've done. Okay guys, so I'll see you soon. Bye.